Hello again, everyone. I am here with another client interview. Hello, Blanka. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, yes. My name is Blanka Adamova, and I'm from the Czech Republic. I am currently still studying, and I am also part of a marketing agency at the moment as a project manager.
Mhm.
hmm
Okay. Um, could you tell us what was your situation back then before you started working with us?
hmm I would say the first time when I'd say first time I've learned about working with you guys was mainly thanks to my previous job because I used to go to the States for the summers, doing business as a student, and that was the time when I learned and gained more skills and also learned more about finances too. So that was mainly how I learned about you and started learning more about other things too.
Mhm. Okay. What initially inspired you to consider making any change about your situation, especially the
Mm-hmm.
financial situation back then?
Mm-hmm. I would say uh, probably, and that will, everybody's going to have different life experience or something that we went through. But in general, I would say since I was always, I grew up in the countryside, right? So I always had to work hard, and my dad always used to say that you can make an omelette without breaking an egg, which means that you really have to work hard to make money and to make living. So that's how I was raised, and I believe in the century we live right now, it's much better and smarter to make money some other ways as well, not just the hard way. You will always have to work hard, but there are also some other opportunities that our parents were more skeptical about. And I'm not trying to, downsize my parents, but they're great. But since we grew up in communism, it was way different, and people had different mindset about finances, and they were more skeptical than they are right now.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so did you have any challenges before you started working with us?
I wouldn't necessarily say I had any challenges. Obviously, just the time when I was student,
Mhm,
the challenging part was that I was trying to become more financially independent from my parents in that time because
mhm.
they were still contributing towards my accommodation and just like paying my phone bills and also food and like all of that. So my first initial goal was just to become financially free from that at the
Yeah.
very beginning. hmm
Okay. Did you have any specific milestones in mind when you just started working more focused in that
hmm
area?
I would say there was one, and it's gonna go again back to, as I mentioned, my parents, because first thing when I was our first vacation, I remember that, that's a good story, was to Spain, to Canary Islands, and my dad mentioned something that he wished he had an apartment at the seaside or something like that in the future. And I believe that one of my first goal, well, first bigger goal was just to get apartment like that at the seaside, which I did before 25, before
Mhm.
I turned 25 years old. And that happened also thanks to good money habits that I gained throughout the years.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, what specific aspects of our work together did you find the most valuable? Was it the tools, the strategies, the mindset shift, the book recommendations, the habits?
Mm, I would say one thing that made me more curious was definitely persistence of one of you guys that helped me through along the way, and also serving me with proper books too, which I believe my first book that got me more intrigued was The Millionaire's Fast Lane, if I'm not mistaken. That one I read, and that opened my eyes. Then I started reading also The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
There was a lot of other books I read. It's just some of them I read in Czech, some of them I read in English, but those two were definitely. Oh, I think the money is the choice or something like that. I might have them in my notes here too, because I saved my book notes. Yeah, no. Another one was Your Money or Your Life. That one was great too. There is always a lot of good advices in those books, but at the end, it's all about taking that advice and applying it to your life. And I would say also another thing that helped significantly was keeping track of your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was always keeping track of my expenses when I was in the States over the summer, working over there. But when I got home, I stopped doing it. Because a lot of people, they tell you, I spend that much and that much and that much, and I assume it's that much. But at the end, it's a lot more that they think they actually spend. And after doing that, like after a year of consistently entering every single cent that I spent, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's incredible how much I spent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Blanca, did you feel supported throughout our work together?
Yes, I would say so. Whenever I had any questions or whenever I felt like there is something I need more explanation for, I always got the answers that I needed, and the help has been always provided. So, yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you mind to share what results have you achieved since we started to work together?
Mhm.
Like some financial or emotional
Mhm.
or mindset shift?
Mhm. I believe I mentioned a couple of them. Obviously, when somebody is in younger ages, it sounds, or they might feel like, I don't have enough money to start investing, or I don't have, like, this is not a perfect time. I will start later. But the earlier you start, the better for you, right? Because the compound effect works really well, and the interest works as well. So the earlier you start, the better, even if it's just a small amount when it comes to investing, I would say. And another mindset shift was definitely that as long as I work, it will work, right? Because if you're not working and you're just complaining and it's like, I don't have enough money, or I cannot afford this vacation, or I cannot go there and there, at the end, it's really all about you and how bad do you want it, and what are you willing to do for that, to achieve your goals. So that's probably the biggest. And also that some of the things I don't really need to buy, is just a luxury. So is it a want or is it a need,
Yeah,
right? And how much do I need it at the moment? So yeah, that was also eye-opening.
that was very comprehensive answer. Thank you. Um,
Mhm.
how do you feel about your current financial situation compared to before?
Mhm. Obviously my situation changed a little bit also as I was changing jobs at the moment. So it's a it's a little bit, at the moment I am transitioning from jobs. So it's kind of interesting, a little less secured, I would say, but on the other hand, secured as well, because before it was more of commission based and now it's more like you have a flat rate. So you're kind of secured, but I don't know. I honestly felt like the harder I work, the better it is. And if I get rewarded for that. So that is interesting, but definitely I have to say I feel more confident and secured in my skill set and also in my financial habits that I've learned and built throughout the years, because that gives me confidence that I will be fine in the future too.
Okay, let me ask you, how would you describe our work together to someone considering it?
Um, I would say that, like, from my personal experience, I'm always open to learn new things.
Mhm.
And even if I think I know, I don't really know. So it's always good to learn more, because I don't really believe that there is such thing I got this, because there is always something you really don't get. So starting from the basics, I would say definitely be like the first rule that works really well for me is just being open-minded. Being open-minded to learn and being
Curious.
open-minded. Huh?
Curious.
Yeah, be curious, really curious, and like ask questions and get curious about s- anything really, not just about finances, but like what's really behind things and how it works, what's the system, like what are the strategies and the process behind it, like who leads it, how did they get there, and ask those who are successful at the end, right? Because they had to start somewhere. They were not born with it. Of course, there are people who are born with into
Yeah.
wealthy families, right? But um, still, you have to work your way up there. So ask those people how they did it, and you might get there too if you follow their steps.
Yeah, that lead me to the following questions, which is, do you have any advice for someone who is just starting their journey toward the financial independence?
Hmm. Um, I would say personally that the biggest investment and the most important one that they can make is really into themselves. So being willing to pay for their education now, or just be really prepared to pay much higher price in the future for the lack of their education. And by education, I don't mean just going to school. I mean education starts behind, or not behind, but after you finish school, because that's the moment when you start learning the most. So really the choices that they make daily will determine determine their future.
Hmm.
So that's probably my simple advice, I guess. I really like the saying, and I will say that probably twice, just so people can maybe remember or write it down or just simply think about it, because I believe it's true. The amount of money in our lives is merely a reflection to the amount of value we have given to others.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the amount of money in our lives is merely a reflection to the amount of value we have given to the others. So really we are paid for how much impact and value we give to others, right?
Yeah, of course. So the more you learn and acquire new skills that are valuable to the market, money you will earn in the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the only asset we really own is our time. So you choose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if somebody is trying to, build their business or something, or just really have the idea, I remember from one of the books that I read, it was saying that just by listening of what people are saying, even like if you're sitting in the public transportation or airplane, or when somebody's talking in the crowd, just be open to hear what they say, because most of the times when people start complaining and when they say something like, I hate this and this, or I don't like this and this, or this frustrates me, or why is this like that, like things like this, or I wish this was here and there, or I'm tired of, or this sucks. Like these are literally things that can give you an idea for your future business or something that you can start working on and help people to improve that. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it makes.
Mhm.
What would you say to someone who has a hard time trusting someone to help them to achieve their goals?
When somebody's more, let's say, skeptical, or they need a little more. Okay. I mean, since I was doing sales for 8 years, I believe that the trust is something that needs to be built. So with some people and some other people, like you will have instant connection and they will start trusting you right from the beginning. But with some people, it really depends what they've been through. Like if they already experienced something negative, it's
Mhm.
hard to it's hard to explain them that this will work this way and this way because they already burned themselves. So I would say with somebody who you're trying to build trust with, you probably need to really start from educating them on it, because people trust the most to what they say and what they think about themselves and like what they speak out loud. And then they trust their friends or family or the closest ones, and then they will start trusting some other people. So really, it's more about what they believe in at first place. If they believe in it, they will trust you.
Do you have any final thoughts or something that you feel that you have to share with someone out there who is watching right now?
I probably would go back to what I said before, and that's about time, because time is really the only asset we own. So money is something you trade your life energy for. So we really have to choose wisely what we want our energy to be spent on. So if somebody's just starting or just thinking about it, like just give it a shot. Like if you've lost something already, like everybody has something to lose, but I think it's more about giving it a shot and try. Just like what's the worst thing that can happen if you start slow and if you start just really educating yourself and being more curious. That's my personal advice, just like being really eager to learn and being willing to learn just about anything.
Yeah, that's a very good question, by the way. What's the worst thing that can happen if I just give it a shot?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Like I think we spend money on stupid stuff that we never use. I was like some other day I was just posting on Instagram one of the like one simple thing that helps you to breathe better when you're running. And one of my friends asked me if I really believe in this and if it really helps. Like he just thought it's a bullshit and it doesn't work. And I'm like, hey, like I can speak just from my personal experience. I can really tell you if it's going to work for you or not. Just give it a shot and you will just create your own opinion about it. Like, I think you spend $20 for a lot of other silly things, just $20, just
Yeah.
go and give it a shot. And you can invest $20 and you can lose it, but it's going to be the same thing as just spending the money for something silly. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Blanca, thank you very much for agreeing to share your story. It was honor for me.
mhm.
Um, we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope it helps to all the listeners.
Bye bye for now.
Bye.